Beavers break all of the rules. For most species, building a relationship with humans can lead to disaster. But beavers are a major exception. Without a surrogate family providing emotional support, an orphaned beaver will not survive. That means for the early part of their lives, beaver kits require around-the-clock attention from their caregivers, all to prepare these hefty rodents for life back in the wild. North American beavers hardly need an introduction. They are our national animal after all, and they are famous around the world for their ingenious construction and architecture skills. But what may come as a surprise is the complexity of beaver social lives. They are monogamous and spend their entire lives with a single partner. Beaver babies, called kits, stay with their parents for up to 2 years. These little families are highly affectionate, and beavers spend much of their time grooming one another and enjoying each other's company. Beavers that come into our clinic are usually just a few weeks old and have either been abandoned or orphaned. At this young age, beavers are wholly reliant on their parents for warmth, food, and affection, making them uniquely challenging patients to care for. They also stay in care at our clinic for longer than any other animal, up to 2 years.
So when beavers first get into care, they're a handful right from the very beginning. Obviously, it's really stressful from them, like no matter how old they are. We're not a beaver, we're not mom, they don't know that, they don't know we're trying to help. So they're always really, really stressed when they get here. And then depending how long they've been away from their parents, they can be quiet, cold, emaciated. So depending on what's going on with them, kind of changes the initial treatment they need. The big thing about caring for beavers that is so different than any other rehab we do is the emotional bond that they need while they're in care. They form really, really tight-knit family units. And because of that, they need to have somebody while they're in care to bond to. Just leaving them alone to grow up by themselves is actually really bad. So they have to have 1 to 2 caregivers from the very beginning that are consistent, basically become their mom, their best friend, and we just spend all of our time with them. So unlike everything else we raise, which stays on site, we spend as little time with them as possible. With the beavers, we have to take them home with us, swim them in our bathtubs, have them sleeping in our spare bedroom in a little setup, basically whatever it takes to make them bond to us and feel comfortable with us so that when we're in their space, we're their family.
Like any baby, beavers progress through milestones as they age.
Depending on their age, but they'll typically start on formula. And from right away, we have solid food with them. We'll have little different branches, dandelion leaves, lettuce, kale, things that are really easy to digest. And then magically overnight one time, you will go in there and they will have started eating it. You might cry a little bit. It's pretty exciting when they start eating solids, but it's usually within the first couple weeks, within the first month of their life. For sure, they'll start showing some interest in some solid foods. Water and swimming is so important to beavers' health. It's actually the only way for them to defecate. It helps them with bloat. So right from the beginning, baby beavers have to get swam at least 5 times a day, bare minimum. But within the first couple weeks, they already start diving, swimming around the bottom of their pool, searching for things at the bottom to eat or explore. So it happens really quick and it happens just naturally. One of the big questions we get in rehab is always, do we have to teach them how to be a beaver, how to build a lodge, how to dam things? And what we always just say, no, they just know instinctively. Babies will start moving stuff around within the first couple months. At the beginning, it's not super purposeful. They'll just kind of be picking up a blanket, moving it somewhere else, putting their sticks in a pile. But within the first couple months, you'll start to see them making a little pile of their dandelion leaves, pile of their sticks, shoving sort of everything in the entryway of their enclosure, because that's sort of like where the water would be flowing. So they do it really naturally and they do it pretty fast into their little lives. Within the first about 3-4 months, we'll move them into an outside enclosure that has a big pool that's really deep for her to practice exploring, diving deep. We also give her a lodge that's above the water so she can practice entering it from the bottom, just like she would in the wild. And that is where she'll spend most of her time until she gets released.
Thankfully, knowing when a beaver is ready to return to the wild is fairly simple.
All beavers that come into care that are raised as babies need to be here for at least 2 years, sometimes up to 3. And that's just because that's how long they would stay with their family unit. So we try to mimic that in care. So after about 2 years, when they get around that mark, they should start really showing less interest in their primary caregivers. So we never want them to be interested in being around all people, but there'll be those 1 to 2 people that have kind of been their family the whole time. They need to be able to recognize natural food sources. They need to be showing like lodging, damming behaviors, spending lots and lots of time in the water, basically doing everything a wild beaver should do. They need to show us that they can do it here before we release them. So ideally with releasing a beaver, you're going to find somewhere where it's on somebody's property or somewhere that is on a conservation area where it's been established a beaver can help that area, because beavers can do a lot of damage. So we don't want to just release them into any body of water. So we'll find somewhere that we know is safe, that we could use a beaver, and then we'll do sort of a bit of a soft release. So either put up trail cams, have somebody that's in the area to monitor, make sure the beaver is doing well in the wild, is showing all those natural behaviors, isn't going up to people, sort of doing everything we want to be seeing. And once we're confident that they're going to thrive in the wild, then we can take away all those extra measures and we just leave them be.
Returning orphaned and abandoned beavers to the wild is a privilege we don't take lightly. Beavers are considered sacred to many of the First Nations that call Treaty 7 home. Beavers are the namesake of the Tsuut'ina people, which means either many people or beaver people. And for the Blackfoot Nations, beavers are essential to the Beaver Bundle ceremony, which celebrates the gifts that wetland animals bring. The sacred nature of beaver harmonizes with their ecological importance. The ponds beavers create through damming provides millions of species with habitat on Alberta's prairies, including waterfowl, songbirds, and amphibians. These ponds also provide valuable water sources for people and wildlife on the prairie, and even mitigate drought and wildfires. All of this means that a single beaver returned to the wild has an outsized impact on the land and its denizens. We couldn't be more honored to return beavers to the wild so they can continue their important engineering work. You can help us care for wildlife like beavers by heading to the link in our description. There you can donate to the Give the Gift of Saving Wildlife holiday fundraiser. Help us raise $90,000 for wildlife in need. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Alberta Wildlife Insider.